Hello everyone and welcome back to the NASCAR Heat 5 Clint Bowyer season mode. Today we head on to race number 27 from Darlington, the first race of the playoffs. And because of the points reset, you might notice that my point gap above Martin Truex Jr. has been cut down to just 73 points. But the fortunate part about all my wins, which I got 11 wins, 23 stage wins, is to start the playoffs, I am 88 points above the cut line. And fortunately, Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch are only 15 points, so it's mathematically possible I could get one of those guys eliminated in the first round. Think about it. You know, if I keep up all these stage wins and maybe just wreck one or two of them in the next 3 races, we might get one of them out, which would be great news for us, and hopefully we could get maybe Ty Dillon a win in this round, maybe Bubba Wallace a win, who knows? And Bubba did his job by making the playoffs and not dropping outside the top 30 in the regular season. But as we head on to race number 27, I gotta talk about Darlington a little bit. I love Darlington as a racetrack, love it in pretty much every NASCAR game, except for the NASCAR Heat franchise. And the reason being is because the track is a little bit too narrow for NASCAR Heat to handle. The ping-ponging is not as bad in this game, but still the physics, the way energy transfer doesn't really work yet. So it just makes Darlington pretty terrible at a track, you know. I'd say Darlington has 1.5 grooves of racing surface. And when you have a game that can't really handle contact or side-by-side racing, it makes things really terrible at a track this narrow. I'm wondering if I should change the setup up just a little bit for qualifying. And as you can tell, the pole position is a 28.892. I'm going to be at least 1 second off of that in this. Alright, so I'm going to try a bit of a custom setup in the qualifying session. I'm not going to be running this setup in the race, but I just want to see what I can do, because I messed around with it a little bit. 65% tape, which might bring the car to life just a little bit. Did pretty good through 3 and 4, even though this is just the out lap. Normally I can't get the car to handle through there. Well, I wasn't 1 second off, and I qualified in 12th spot. I can tell we're getting a little bit of recording lag. But 12th spot, that's not bad for Darlington, especially going off my test races that I did here, which I qualified normally around 25th to 30th. But Ryan Blaney wins the pole, William Byron in second, and Alex Bowman third. So we're getting kind of an interesting first race of the playoffs if those guys are up front. Not quite your normal, you know, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. day, even though they qualified 5th and 7th. And let's see who got dead last. Chad Fincham, but Jimmy Johnson qualifying 34th. That's not a good story for him. So I wasn't initially intending on running this setup in the race, but I'm starting to think about maybe running it. I'm going to run the custom setup. I backed down the tape a little bit so it shouldn't overheat, but I'm going to see what it does. So Ryan Blaney won the pole, Brendan Gaughan failed tech, and Jimmy Johnson had to change the engine. So Johnson qualified 34th, but then changed the engine, so he's actually starting tail end. Not a good weekend for the 48 so far. Anyway, I'm hoping to get a good run out of this first race of the playoffs. Not looking exactly to win, but I am looking to mess with the playoff running grid at least a little bit. I'm going to get to the bottom, Bowman-Gray style, by just cutting down and seeing if there's a hole.
Stay low. All right, clear outside. Still there.
All right, here we go. Trying to... Ooh, geez.
All right, clear outside. Got a car low now.
This is what I don't like about this game, is how bing-bongy everything is, and we already got a caution.
Caution.
I'm going to stay out. I'm going to stay out on this one. Sorry about this jump cut, but I had noticed that my computer had actually connected its internet service to my printer, which is not correct, so I had to get that fixed. Anyway, we got the jump on the restart above Chase Elliott, so I guess I did my job there.
Still there.
Ooh. Car wanted to jump out from under me right there.
All right,
Just
clear outside.
force it in there.
Car outside.
All right, so I'm up to 4th spot already. Like I said, not really expecting to win this one, but I'm definitely going to try and put some points on the field.
Got one down low now.
It's like the AIs don't have tire degradation through 3 and 4. They can get through there as fast on old tires as they would on fresh. In fact, let me show you something. See how I went in, committed to hitting the wall, and then gained a little bit of time? There's actually a way that you can execute that and actually make up enough time to set up a pass on someone into turn 1.
Looking inside now.
Car's just a little too ugly to try something like that right now.
Inside.
BJ outrunning me like this.
Hold your line.
Okay.
Car
Now-
line. Careful.
How's come the AIs can hang on to that sometimes? I'm going to pit because I could actually make it to the end from here. So I lost 34 spots off pit road, but I still think that I can do something with this because I'm going to be able to make it to the end on gas. I don't think anybody else can.
Got one down low now.
And you know what? For the purpose of gambling, I am not going to pit if a caution comes out in the middle of this stage. Oh, well. You know, the AIs can handle that sometimes. Sometimes they can't. But either way, I'm in the Bowman-Gray style of getting to the bottom of the racetrack. Even though this is a speedway,
Green driver.
I'm going to Bowman-Gray my way to the bottom, regardless of the circumstances. If I restart on the bottom, well, I don't need to wreck anyone on the restart. And look at that, it's the restart glitch. That's what I get. You know, I deserve that. Oh yeah, how you like that apron pass? So there's somebody slowing up this whole pack of cars. I don't have any idea who it is. Probably whoever I wrecked.
Outside.
BJ, you know, he probably didn't pit.
Car outside. Hold your line.
Yeah, I do see BJ up there, so I think he's just slowing down the field right now.
Clear high. Clear high.
I'm not going to risk a 3-wide pass off 2. Because the way the Bing Bong effects work in this game, I would be spun down into the inside wall like Chase Elliott was in the spring. You can do it off of turn 4 when your car can corner like that. But off 2, it's suicide.
Careful. Still there.
Gonna try a bit of a slide job into here. Yep.
Clear outside.
I mean, it worked. So, much like what we saw at, I think it was Kansas and Atlanta, a tire advantage is really important here. For instance, that's what I have right now.
Still there.
And you can tell the car is starting to handle half decent.
Got one down low
In
now.
comparison to the field, that's just because I have like 10-lap pressure tires. And you might notice by the way the tire wear is going, this is one of the only tracks in this game where the right front tire wears worse than the right rear, which makes quite a bit of sense. And it's good to see that at least one racetrack follows normal setup rules.
Got one up top.
Because, I mean, if you're burning the right rear off more than the right front, you have something really screwed up about your setup.
Stay on the bottom here.
And look at that. Newman, with like 10-lap older tires than me, just passed me on the outside. Not sure if that's just because it was Newman or if the game screwed up. I'd like to go with the latter, but he is programmed to be rated like Ryan Newman, so that could have been accurate. By the way that 78 car wrecked, or I should say the way I wrecked him, do you think I would be listed with a DNF if I wrecked that same way? Head first into the wall going 150? I think so. But remember, the AIs are immortal in this game, unless they decide to quit. Because, you know, sometimes they have like an engine failure or something. But still, they can wreck going 150 and still run without getting damage repairs. Like, look at the 20. It's running in 12th spot. How good's that front end look? You can see it through the windshield. That is one of my biggest pet peeves about this game. Is, I mean, you can see the damage. You think that car would be running 12th fastest at Darlington? I don't really think so. Then again, Eric Jones won with a car looking like that at Daytona, so maybe I'm wrong. So I'm back up to the spot where I qualified. So at least his car hasn't gotten considerably worse than what it was before the race started. Look at that, a pass on the outside. Never thought I'd see the day. Except for maybe Bristol. Which is in this round, by the way, which is good news for me. I can win at Bristol. Probably not here. If I win here, it'd be like how I won at Richmond. Which Richmond's also in this round, so I'm hoping to pull off 2 miracles and 1 instance of actually half-decent driving. I'll talk about pulling off 2 miracles. How about 2 passes on the outside? I heard pitting ahead of me. There goes some cars on the pit road. So now with passing Bowman, I'm into 4th spot. I'm into a points-paying position, and like I said earlier, if a caution comes out in this stage, it sets up, you know, a short run to the finish. I'm not pitting because I need them points. I mean, I don't necessarily need the points. I think I'm already a race above the cut line because of how many playoff points I scored in the regular season, but still, I like to have a giant point lead. I think I just took the lead. So now with 4 laps remaining in the race, or at least in the stage, I'm hoping to get to the end and win this thing. Ryan Newman's the only driver that stayed out. All right, so here we get to lap a bunch of guys. Ooh. I was going to hit the wall anyway, but I get the stage win. Ryan Newman, Timmy Hill, Corey LaJoie, Jimmy Johnson in 6th. That's a good comeback. And there's only 3 cars on the lead lap. That is some good news. Well, they got the wave around. Oh, well. That would have been really cool if there was only 4 cars in the lead lap, but, you know, can't always get what you want. Just cut Ryan Newman off on the restart there. But with Newman and Timmy Hill and these guys up front, should be a little while before the really competitive cars start to carve their way through the field. You know, I think that one of my bigger problems with NASCAR Heat as well is how not smart the AIs are when it comes to pit strategy. I mean, if you watched my part 2 of Project Retroval, Boris said, you know, run out of gas at the end of the race. That was a strategy gamble by an AI. That is what they need in NASCAR Heat. They need the AIs to be willing to try stuff that doesn't necessarily make sense, but will get them there towards the finish. You know, even though it didn't really work out for Boris Said, he still finished 3rd, which, you know, it would be fun if the AIs in this game would try, you know, crazy strategies, because that's realistic. You know, not in every race does the strategy play out perfectly, and not in every race does everyone pit with the leader. You know, it's not follow the leader. It's about winning the race. You know, so that's why you go really far off strategy in the hopes that you can win it. And sometimes, if you're somebody like, say, Matt McCall, the strategy does play out. Peter Suspenzo, he won with Justin Haley at Daytona in 2019 by staying out when everybody else pitted and then lightning struck and then the race got canceled. But also his win before that, Peter Suspenzo won at Richmond in 2003 with Joe Nemechek. And guess how they won that? Rain. So I'm just saying, you got to program in some strategy if you really want, you know, a realistic racing game. And it's kind of amazing, though, to think that Suspenzo's wins, last two wins, came in 2003 and 2019. And they were both due to rain. It's kind of amazing. Look at that, Ryan Blaney just took up second. That's probably the end of my lead. I think he actually went like 2 or 3 wide on Newman. So there you go. You can see on the top left of the screen, the drivers who are in are marked with that black square. The drivers who are outside of the playoffs are the clear ones, you know, the clear spaces. And I'll say this, Jimmy Johnson, after starting tail end and qualifying 34th, to be running in 4th is a really good turnaround so far. I'm not going to fight the 12-car Blaney once he gets to me, which will probably be within the next lap or two, because, you know, he's gained already about a second on me. He's just too good. I cannot hold that 12-car off. And here comes Blaney. I'm going to try and convince him to pass me on the outside. He'll probably get me in 3 and 4 anyway. I just cannot get through 3 and 4 like an AI. You know? 1 and 2 I'm pretty good in, actually. Pretty comparable. But 3 and 4, just no. All right, Blaney, pass me. I don't want to fight while the car is handled like this.
Still there.
There we go. All right, so he's cleared me. Now I get to draft off him. Hopefully work with him just a little bit. We have to pit in 7 laps. You see, I'm not that bad in 1 and 2 when I get the line figured out. But 3 and 4, I just cannot hang. But that does mean if I let somebody by me like late in the race, I can, you know, try and wreck them in 3 and 4. Kind of like what I just did right there, but worse. And really win the race, actually. It's possible. I'm not going to say it's likely, but I'm saying it's possible if I play my cards right to be in that position. Ooh. All right, we got a caution. The car was yet again pushing off of turn 2. I was afraid I was going to smack the wall. Oh, remember what I said, though, about cutting to the bottom? Blaney, you're in the danger zone.
All right, you're coming to the green. Be ready here. Hammer down, grease out. All clear.
Bowman-Gray restarts, man. Jimmy Johnson up into second. 12 to go in stage number 2. Hoping to score some stage points in this one as well. You can tell the emphasis I've been putting on stages throughout the whole season. And I'm sorry if for some people my aggression might ruin the immersion or whatever it may be. But listen, you can't be immersed in a game where someone can pound the wall going 150 and still continue like BJ McLeod did. So I'm sorry if your immersion's ruined, but that should have done it before I started wrecking people left and right. Because I'll be honest, that was an accident. That wasn't like I wanted to wreck BJ. like what I almost did to Ryan Blaney, that was genuinely something I was not trying to do. Because what I thought was going to happen was, like normal, NASCAR heat stuff, I was going to make contact with him. He was probably going to speed up anyway and just drive right by me. Instead, he reacted and actually spun and pounded the outside wall, which that's not something you're used to when you play this game for, 26 parts now. And they never react to crashing. Like that. See that? I was expecting that to happen. So that killed my momentum completely. Blaney's taking the lead. Maybe not now, because guess what? I'm restarting on the outside of him again. Bowman-Gray restart.
All right, you're coming to the green. Almost ready. Time to go. Inside. Bottom's clear.
Whoa. All right, so that didn't really go into Blaney's hands. Now Jimmy Johnson's on my outside because I took the lead. We'll see. Joey Logano's going to restart on the inside, though. That should be a pretty big advantage for a car that fast. 3 to go in stage 2. I really doubt me being able to hold off Joey unless I fat-neck the field, which is really possible for me to do, but not really something that I want to do.
Inside. Bottom's clear.
Now they're starting to rip the bottom through 1 and 2, which is making things even harder on me.
Last lap. Hit your mark.
All right, I got a pretty good exit of turn 2. Put about a half a car length on the 22. You see, I'm just terrible in 3 and 4. But anyway, that's both stages swept at Darlington. Pretty much maximum points for me.
Won that stage. Way to go, driver.
I don't think I'm going to win, but I'd have to pull some, blocking, fat-necking like that if I actually intend on winning this thing. B.J. McLeod in 5th. He could do it. Let's hope he does it.
Smart out here.
Myatt Snyder won the Mock Series Southern 500, so maybe B.J. can win the NASCAR Heat Southern 500.
All clear.
So we have to pit at least once. About 17 laps on gas, 33 laps remaining in the race. This is when I'm going to have to start letting people by me, because there's no way I'm going to be able to hold up the whole field, for 33 laps.
Got one.
Yeah.
Inside.
All right. So I wanted to at least slow him down a little.
Outside. All right, clear outside. All right, you're clear.
So now we're back to where we were on the restart. Oh, Joey just got up into the wall, though. So that might help me a little bit as BJ takes up second. I'm trying to get the field spread out, so if I do make another mistake like I did on lap 1, I don't lose like 10 positions, I only lose like 3. Remember that racing is just manipulating the field in an AI race. It's a little different when you have to, get out of the car and start fighting people, but it's always an option. Remember, even though the crap I'm doing here is a little ridiculous, you could do it in a real race. They might not let you back, but you could win at least one race doing this.
Inside.
Joey putting up a pretty good fight there. Although I think he's taking it. You know, sayonara, because look at that. He's even gapping me on the straightaway. Name somebody who could enter turn 3 at Darlington, flat on almost the apron, and then corner through it going faster than 140, because I was going 140 through that corner, and he's already about a second ahead of me. So that means he must have been going like 150 almost to get that big of a gap. So I want to see somebody do that in a stock car, not quite in an Indy car, because that's what you need, I think. I gotta use that wall to turn, practically. Because you see, the real problem is, I'm up with cars that I am in no way able to, you know, actually fight for position. You know, I'm with elite company, and I am not elite company, so that's why I'm having this hard of a time, you know, keeping up. Is because this car is probably fast enough to stay like 15th, but I'm battling my teammate Kevin Harvick for second, so that's the real reason this race is such a struggle right now. Because these guys are in a league of their own, and I shouldn't be here. But I am, and I'm going to make sure that I keep my presence up front, which turns the whole race into a fight for me, but still, it's worth doing. Because I already swept the stages. Oh, somebody's gone off. They're stopped on the back straightaway. Not really sure why we haven't gotten a yellow for that yet. If we don't get one, I'll be seeing them stopped on the back straightaway this lap. Yeah, but I heard someone's RPM dip in the back. And now we got a car stopped entering turn 3. Or at least going extremely slow. Oh, is this dangerous?
Heading ahead of you.
Something about that seemed a little dangerous to me. So yeah, no caution, because we have some amazing officials here at Darlington. We got the best officials in the business. FIA and OSHA certified in safety regulations. Well, that made the battle easier on me, because now I don't have the heat of Kevin Harvick behind me. So, who knows, that dumb move by the officials might have actually benefited me a little. I couldn't get any closer to Joey because I wasn't going to, you know, pound the 87 or the 78, because, you know, I wasn't going to risk getting up there, going too fast, and actually hitting the 78, which would end my race, so. Yeah, but we, still caution-free. The game tried its hardest to get a caution right there. It's a shame it was BJ sitting on pit road now. But, I don't know why we haven't gotten a yellow yet. I guess the game doesn't either. Because I'm sure that was supposed to be, you know, the game's classic, you know, here you go, here's a caution before we get a green flag run situation, but it might benefit me because we can pit under green now and not have our advantage get ruined. Getting up into the wall now. So Joey's going to catch lap traffic right up here. That might slow him down a little bit as well. Yeah, but it's funny when the game, like, really wants a caution to come out, but can't get it. Like, half the game wanted a caution to come out, half the game didn't. So that's why a wreck happened, but we got no yellow. It's amazing when the game, like, confuses itself. It has an existential crisis. And, it has that happen. It's amazing. Look at that. That was a pretty slick pass of the 62, actually. Joey Logano just passed 2 lap cars on the outside line on the straightaway. For being NASCAR Heat AI, Joey's actually avoiding cars pretty well. You know, not getting stuck in lap traffic. Missed the 78 of BJ. So Joey's coming down. I am not. So at least I get to say that I have the lead for right now.
Clear high, bud.
Just lapping Timmy and Ross Chastain right here. Denny Hamlin opted to stay out as well.
Stay on the bottom here.
I'm going to stay out this lap and then pit the next.
Watch those tires.
So now I'm going to pit this lap.
You're low on fuel, bud.
Oh, Denny's taking the same strategy as me. See, we know what we're doing.
Slow down.
There we go. Eased it on the pit road, no repairs. 4 tires and gas, that's the plan. You know what's funny? I got onto Darlington's pit road, first try, no mistakes. I try to get onto Auto Club Speedway's pit road, I spin out twice. And Darlington is arguably one of the harder pit roads to get onto. So, I don't know what's wrong with me. The 16 flat for a pit stop. That's a little slow, but, you know, it is the final stop of the day. It's my pit crew's job to screw that up. I think we got out in front of Hamlin, though. That's good news.
Clear out. Hammer down.
So Joey got around me, but of course he would. Much faster car. Let's see, could I cycle out in second? Yeah. Alright, let's hopefully get a lap car buffer above whoever's in third. Get around Chad Fincham.
Clear up top.
There we go. So now that we have a really big gap above third spot, I'm feeling good about how this race is going as long as it goes caution-free. More or less setting qualifying laps right now. Because I got really no worries. Because Jimmy Johnson's 2.2 seconds behind me. There's zero shot I'm going to catch Joey since he's got a little over a 5-second gap. So just going to try and regulate that margin above Jimmy Johnson now and hopefully pass as many lap cars as possible.
Still there.
What is the 73 doing?
All clear.
Bobby Carter trying to wreck the second place runner. Of course. That sounds like something I'd do. You know, running like 37th. Let me see if I can wreck second place.
You gotta focus.
All right, 10 laps to go. Again, the goal is to hold second. Look at Joey's lead. 7.5 seconds. I mean, that's impressive. But keep this in mind. In Season 1 of the Mach Series, Joey Logano won the Southern 500. Clint Bowyer won the championship. So, I'm going off of that for my statistics right now. And 22 cars driving like there's something illegal about it. I mean, already up to 8-second gap, although he's stuck behind lap traffic right now. Well, we're gaining pretty quick, but, you know, back down to 7 seconds, but he'll gap me again, don't worry about it. You know, I think that Joey pitting early was actually a good idea, because he was able to, you know, short pit, get on fresh tires early, get that big gap off pit road, but I wasn't going to short pit with him, because my tires would already be terrible by now, by, you know, pitting a little bit earlier. That means you have to go a little farther on that run, so that would have been bad news for me. 3 laps remaining. Joey's got an 8.1 second gap on me. Jimmy Johnson is a second and a half behind. So that means Johnson did gain a little bit, probably because I hit the wall through 3 and 4. But I'm trying to put more lap cars in between us. Now that we've caught Half, and we're getting up to Brendan Gaughan for the second time during this run, actually. Should be able to put some separation on him with this many lap cars. 2 to go.
Clear high, bud.
Ooh, okay. There's somebody slow on the apron in front of Logano. At least I think I saw somebody. No, I think they got on the pit road, so good for them. Brendan Gaughan got stuck. Well, not Brendan Gaughan. Jimmy Johnson got stuck behind Brendan Gaughan. So now, white flag, 1 lap remaining for me. All right, Joey Logano has advanced to the round of 12, making him the best driver of the season that isn't named Clint Bowyer. I'm going to bring it home in second.
Top 5.
That was pretty good, actually, for me to get second. Hey, the round of 16 logo is the old one. That's not the current logo. So this was the McLeod incident that got no caution. BJ comes off of turn 2 with a blown tire, slides, spins out, goes up into Blaney, slides down the racetrack, hits the wall hard, and no caution. He drives back up onto the racetrack, stops down in turn 3, and we get still no yellow for it. I don't know how the game missed that, but I'm pretty sure I drove someone just up into the wall earlier and we got a caution. But when a car spins out, hits the wall hard, and stops up in front of the field, no caution. But anyway, you recall earlier in the race, I wrecked BJ entering turn number 3, and BJ continues to drive for the rest of the race, even though we did get a caution for that. But he wrecks very similarly, but with a blown tire, much later on in the race, and that's what knocks him out. It's just that blown tire. Not him hitting the wall, which he did much earlier in the race and didn't knock him out. It was the blown tire that took him out of the race. Like, they can't change a set of good years. But anyway, the round of 16 logo is outdated. And our finishing position was second, speed rating 104, not bad for the circumstances. Joey, once he got out front, I couldn't do anything with him. But Logano wins the race, first driver locked in. Look at that, only 11 cars finished on the lead lap. There's me wrecking BJ. That, he did not actually wreck out for. It was the later wreck. I don't get it. And the last place finisher was Brad Keselowski. So there's your point grid. I am 123 points above the cut line. The drivers on the outside looking in are Almirola, Keselowski. That's an interesting story. And then DiBenedetto and Bubba Wallace. So, of course, Bubba would be out. He was just barely made it in anyway. But who knows? He could drive his way back in if enough guys drop out. So let's hope maybe at Richmond, Truex or Kyle Busch finish last. That might be fun. Joey Logano set the fastest lap. Then I led the most laps at 34. Had nothing for Joey at the end. He got like 9-second gap on me. On the move is Jimmy Johnson. Started 39th, finished 9th. And the tough break, BJ started 14th, finished 38th. This is the first time this whole season that I have not been the point leader, by the way, because now Joey is. But kind of unofficially, because it's not based on points, it's based on his win, which moves him above me. But yeah, after 26 races, I held the point lead, so that's something to brag about. So let's take a look at the point standings one more time. I am 123 points above the cut line. Joey Logano has already locked himself in with his win. And then from there, we have Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch. And all those three are only 29 points above. That's not that good when you compare, you know, a 123-point margin, which is already above one race. So I could just not show up at Richmond and, you know, still make it in to the round of 12. But look at this, though. Ty Dillon, right now, he is above the cut line. And I was not expecting that. But after Brad Keselowski finished dead last at Darlington, that has dropped him below the cut line, with Ty Dillon still in it, as well as Matt Kenseth, which is some good news. So far, I think that's the most impressive story, is Ty Dillon's persistence in the 13. After winning Las Vegas, now 11th in points. It's a good story for Jermaine. But anyway, we head on to race number 28 from Richmond. I don't really expect to win on this one. You know, my win there in the spring race was more or less luck of good fuel strategy and a late race caution. But we'll see how we do. And do you see the NASCAR Cup Series logo? It's a bit of a crusty JPEG. The white around the corners is still showing from where they cut it out. They couldn't even get a PNG to make this game, and they're officially licensed by NASCAR. I think I've done better with mods for NR, and I don't even make any. You know, I've never made a mod. I've just put in PNGs onto tracks. It's that easy. But they cut out a JPEG. At least it looks like they did, and I don't know. They're paid too much money to do that. But anyway, we head on to race 28 from Richmond, 100 lapper, a short track that's not so good in this game, and I will see you there. And get ready for bottom wrapping in the next race.